Hi everybody, hopefully this is working. We're all a bit all over the place. Us lot at the moment, meaning me. I don't know if this will do its thing. A slight return. I always think of that Blue Tone song, A Slight Return. Was it an album? Anyway, hi Tony. How was game night on Friday? What did you play? Digger Tony. Hello, Nige. Hello, Pigeon. I've been better. I'm here. We're doing a live. It's public. I haven't prepped the game or anything. I thought I could just come on and do a short one. Hi, David Gibb. We'll just summon the machine god. It's all a bit mechanicum this evening. Hope everybody's doing well. I don't know if this is a bit mawkish, but I actually wrote my mum's eulogy. And I was wondering if I should share it with some of you lot before I deliver it on Wednesday. I don't know. It's hard to know what is appropriate. And yeah, I have to say I've been so calmed down by poetry at the moment. I've got my nails done, so they're really presentable for the event. I've bought a dress. We've sorted out this beautiful order of service, a beautiful memory book. We're taking photos down. So, yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes out. Thank you, Jim, for the heart. Love that, Historita Jamaldus. Hello, Sean and Historitus, our beautiful moderators. Tony said it's good gaming. We're coming to the end of Agamonia fantasy campaign. We're 5th and final level. Don't die. Be careful of a TPK. Total party kill. Oh, I miss playing D&D. So, talking of Dungeons and Dragons, the latest Warhammer book I've been reading. I won't go too deeply into it because I will be doing a members only video about the story Dark Heart. Dark Heart is a story by a Warhammer author I've not read before, which is always like super interesting. The guy's name is Anthony Reynolds, and the story is about Corfeyron and what happens to him when the Ultramarines and the word bearers are fighting on Calth. Corfeyron is being an arrogant dick, and but it's told from the story of a character that I think comes to light in 40k. He's a bit of a baddie hero in 40k. His name is Marduk, or Marduk, as I read it, and I was thinking, how scary can you really be? Tony says it's been over a year. It's a fail forward game. I love that. I really like failing forward. I've been using my Faber and Faber poetry diary because I'm losing time. Everything feels a bit surreal. So I've been keeping track of time. And the poetry is by D.H. Lawrence. He of the Rainbow and Sons and Daughters and all of that. Seaweed. Seaweed sways and sways and swirls as if swaying were its form of stillness. And if it flushes against fierce rock, it slips over it as shadows do without hurting itself. What the bloody hell does that mean, D.H. Lawrence? And that was from a selection of poems called The Rattlebag, selected by Ted Hughes and Seamus Heaney. No idea. Nige just listened to Dark Heart today. I feel quite ambivalent towards it as a story. I could take it or leave it. As you all know, I really dislike I don't know. I've discovered lately I don't like Corfeyron. So I'd have been happy not to hear from him. That's so mean. Yeah, he's just evil. Yeah, I feel that Calth is a really big thing. obviously I didn't know anything about it. And it's quite morbid. A whole short story heresy book set on Calth. It feels very indulgent, but I understand the relation to that book is that Calth is such a big thing for Warhammer players. It's a, you know, it's a certain point that everybody knows about, and it meant so much to the universe and how the stories were shaped. But for me, I'm like, do we need this book? It's not, it's survival, it's horror. Yeah. So I will reserve my thoughts for my members only live, which I shall probably do tomorrow evening. The other thing I have been reading is Void Scarred, which is by Mike Brooks, and it's pretty fabulous. It's about space elf pirates, and they're fighting orcs. Could have done without all the orky bits. It goes without saying. But it's very steamy. Romance. I'm here. Excuse me. I'm here for it. I'm actually thinking I should do top 5 romance partnerships. And that this would definitely be in my top 5 Warhammer romances. Yeah, space elves. Here for it. Also, Ian suggested we read it, which is a big deal for those of you who know how Ian feels about elves. More poetry stuff. This is a book of poems written by my friend Matthew Gregory. We've known each other so many years. In 2008, I was really struggling with a breakup, and he sent me a book of poetry called Billy's Rain, and it was exactly what I needed to help me to get over a breakup. So I'm now reading Matt's actual poetry, which was collected from the Naughties, I think. It's called Excerpts from a Scenic World. Absolutely beautiful. The first poem is called A Room in Paris, 1855. An alchemist's gas lamp reaches shakily into one corner. Some paintings nobody has a particular opinion on are nailed over rose ballroom wallpaper. And on the bed, the middle-aged poet, Gérard de Nerval. He would appear restful if it wasn't for his eyebrows meeting like 2 dark horses in the middle of his forehead. He's dreaming of the beautiful apple he palmed only a few days before on Ile Saint-Louis, and the grief of a wormhole in the thing perfected. He wakes all of a sudden. He takes his collection, Les Chimères, down from its cramped shelf and cuts it in half at the spine with a knife. He will clean every sentence. Pretty atmospheric, historic, artistic. Thank you, Matt Gregory. He's on the list. After Calth, then came Cadia. On my to-read list, we have The Fall of Cadia and Cadia Stands. Justin D. Hill, I follow Justin's Instagram, and I find it incredibly inspirational. I love hearing from Justin. So I'm going to read this as soon as possible and get him to chat on the channel. Robert Rath, The Fall of Cadia. This is one of the longest books in the Warhammer Black Library, with a total page count of 650 or so pages. I again love Robert Rath. Ian and I had a lovely catch up with him before Christmas. Beautiful guy. Still trying to get hold of Guy Haley to talk about Flesh and Steel. This has just come across my desk. Is this going to happen? Not sure. Somebody sent me somebody sent me Gazkul Thraka, Prophet of the War. It's on my pile, but orcs bum me out. Our very own Jen's story, The Enigma's Secret. Jen often pops on the channel for a chat. I need to read this because Jen and support. It's on the pile. Also, interesting. Why have I got my James Swallows out? I miss James Swallow. James has just recently released some of his I can't remember the name, spy thrillers. Hard recommend. Check them out. It's not Warhammer. It's just great. Yeah. Blood Angels. I'm Blood Angel adjacent. They make me happy. On the to read list, The Wraithbone Phoenix by Alex Worley. Baggett is the fast-talking, rattling with an eye for the big score. Claude is the Ogrin with a heart of gold and a head full of dreams. A rattling and an Ogrin. I haven't read stories with either of those in. Tony says Warglet, yay. Elves and Orcs, Mr. Ian. Just elves, Mr. Ian. And orcs. Okay, we'll take it. David Gibb is reading one of the old fantasy battle omnibuses, Matthias Tholman with Witch Hunter. Tony says, should have done top 5 grimdark romances for this weekend. I shouldn't I, Tony? Shall I do it and save it for 2027? Could always have one in the bank. It would be like, you'd see premieres on 14th of February 2027, and by the time that came out, it would probably be out of date. But that really interests me, that idea, having a video so prepared in advance. Hello, Alex. Alex Sinclair offered to come to London to help me prune the roses, which I still have not pruned and are a jungle on my balcony. And I was really tempted. If I knew Alex well in person and we'd had a few catch-ups, he would have been more than welcome to come up. But Alex, I love you and I appreciate you, but we're still strangers on the internet. So hopefully one day this summer, Alex and I will get to meet. I'd love to go and check out some of his landscaping work in Bath. If you're not following Alex on Instagram, well worth it, because some beautiful landscaping going on. Finally, The Last Unicorn, one of my comfort reads, which is consistently on my pile. I read it a lot. It reminds me of my dad's. It deals with love and loss. The last few chapters make me weep. And intro by Patrick Rothfuss. Peter S. Beagle is one of my wishes, my dream wishes on my channel. And then we have Malus Dark Blade, Dan Abnett and Mike Lee. The Dark Elves. I haven't read any Dark Elf stuff either. So that's on my pile. I've got a lot going on. And of course, Mark Lawrence's amazing new book. I'm trying to speed read that as quickly as I can in order to interview him on my channel before the book is published in March. Patrick says, do you think you'll get the chance to interview Dan again? I really enjoy listening to those. Yes, Patrick, I need to just read the next Gaunt's book, get some more Dan under my belt. It's hard because I think Dan doesn't pop back up in the Heresy, and Ian and I have a big spreadsheet of books. We don't have any Dan books on there, so I think I need to find a way. It is my wish that this spring or summer I host a couple of live events where I interview maybe Dan or James or Graham live with an audience. Maybe we book a room where 100 people could come. So that's one of my dreams. That's something I'm working towards. And yeah. Oh, Sean sent me a little unicorn. Thank you. Sean has sent me $1.49 Australian. Much appreciated. Tony says one of Mira's catchphrases. Yeah, that is a catchphrase. Elves, Mr. Ian. I'm sure Ian hates that catchphrase. Historita Jamaldis says the Gaz book was really good. It's not all orcs. Thank you. Okay, that is good. Jamaldis says, note that the James Swallow Red Fury but Black Tide books are parts 3 and 4 after Deus Sanguineus and Deus Encarmin. Oh no, I don't know if I've got those. just looking behind me. I've got Dan Abnett book here that I haven't read yet called Thunder and Steel, Patrick. So maybe if I could read that, although that looks like about 900 pages. You thinking what I'm thinking? The explosive first instalment in the Blood Angel series. I am hoping that after Mum's funeral and going through February, there's a lot of admin and administration and settling and heart taking care of to do, but I'm hoping to have some time away where I can take a bunch of books. So maybe we do a bit of Blood Angels. I think if I'm going to start reading 40k chapters, I would probably be looking at Ravengard, Blood Angels. Yeah, I think... Oh, crikey. My Leaning Tower of books. Yeah, I think if I begin a 40k chapter, it will be Blood Angels or... Well, we actually read Soul Hunter, didn't we? So I can continue that as well. Night Guard. Philip says, what happens first? Mira finishes Horus Heresy or George R.R. Martin releases The Winds of Winter? Philip, we all know that I'm going to finish the Horus Heresy first. I'm so dedicated and I love the Horus Heresy. It's given me so much. It makes me... Oh, I don't want to cry, but what would I have done without Ian and the Horus Heresy for the past 5 years and now? When I'm really feeling things. Gal Maraz, I've got 6 of the Warhammer crime books so far. Oh, Gal Maraz, I'd love to get more of the crime books. Sean says, so many books, I don't know how you keep track of them. I don't, is the answer. What I'd love to do is have Historia Jamalda's come, catalogue the books and do a spreadsheet. Thanks, Jim. I mean, you can bring the family. But yeah, as you all know, I've been caring for my mum for the past 5 years and a lot of my time has been taken up with that. So maybe I should be doing things like cataloguing my books. I don't really know how I'm going to fill this time in with the absence of my mum. All these things to be revealed. Barack Obama. Hello, it's been a while. Hello, Barack Obama. Hello, Stalled. Is that how we say it? Stallexted. Gal Maraz loves the Witch Hunter series. The Templar of Moor was such a great character. Thank you again, Sean, for that 149. Patrick says maybe we'll get the next Beckwin book. If we do, he better give me an exclusive interview because I love Beckwin. I love Eisenhorn and Ravener and Beckwin. Love. So many of us do. Sean says, here's Not the Last Unicorn. Very nice, Sean. Thank you so much, mate. Tony says, Sean, there is a cybernetic floating of screen passing. Sean, Tony's addressing Sean. Sean, there's a cybernetic floating off screen, passing and filing books in a vast off-screen librarium. I can show you some of it. You can see there, that is a three strip bookcase, which is pretty full of Warhammer books. Also, I have currently what is a blank wall at the end there, which I'm thinking might become a bookcase. I'm thinking of this armchair here is going to be sold and a bookcase will be there. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking for things to fill my life. Maybe Warhammer books. I have a box of books that are so beautiful that this lovely gentleman from the internet sent to me. And I have no space for them and they're all very expensive. So I need more shelves. Oh, poor me. First world problems. Historia Jamalda says, Dan is next back in the Heresy for Unremembered Empire, book 32. So I think I'm about 8 books away from that. Capri says the 2 Deus books are very epic. That's wonderful. Raging Horn, thank you so much. Member for 10 months. Yes, if you're able to, please do support the channel with a Mirror Manga YouTube membership. I am really pushing memberships at the moment. It really has been helping me out a lot financially and gives me a safe space to talk to the people that have been around for a long time or really invested, so I can have more personal chats with the members. And I'm scared that if membership drops off, my circle of safe people will get smaller and smaller. So yeah, looking out for that. Historica Jamaldus knows that I've got the books. Patrick, thank you so much. It was, yeah. Pigeon says, Last Unicorn is on my to-read list for March. Pigeon, I cannot wait to hear what you think. And please pick out your favourite 3 quotes, because that book is eminently quotable. And all my friends find different ones. Nice to see you going through some classic Warhammer fantasy battle books, Malice. I didn't even know that was a fantasy one. Raging Horn, could you interview Dan about his book Embedded? Yes, I have that book. It's on the other shelf, but I have Embedded. It's a red and yellow cover and some of his other material. Yeah, I have read his comic books, The Out, and yeah, I have read other Dan stuff, and I love talking to Dan. Any opportunity I get to talk to Dan, believe me, Raging, I will take it. I'm going to hammer some hearts. Thank you so much for the £5 donation. That's so kind. Thank you. Alex, yay, Blood Angels. Tony, Cybernetic Floaty Cherub drop books off screen. Historita Jamaldus says, oh wait, Unremembered Empire's only 29. After Mark of Calth, it's Vulcan Lives, then Dan. Yay, Salamanders. Hello, Robbie. Hi, Robbie. Sean says, organising books is a good way to keep your brain busy. Historica Jamaldus says 27. I meant not 29. Historica Jamaldus is playing bingo with us tonight. Robbie, sorry I'm late. I was searching for a lost thing. Where did you find it, Robbie? Was it in the last place you remembered having it? Well, Inspector. Oh, that's what we look like. Short, wide, and with a red blinking light. Oh my goodness, sorry, I'm missing all the thingies. Robbie, thank you for being a dreadnought for 28 months, over 2 years. Robbie and I might be reuniting in real life to go have a little bit of a holiday in Yorkshire. We were both in Cornwall last year. Not this year, last year, and not last year, the year before, and just hung out for a day or two. So these things can happen, Alex. See, we can kind of hopefully catch up, and then, you know, if you're not a murderer and kind, normal human, maybe the roses could happen. Galmaraz, thank you so much for sending 5 Mirror Manga Grimbark Buddies gift memberships. Patrick, welcome. And Anarian the Younger, Stuart Riley, Sleepy Hippie, welcome, and enjoy your membership. Thank you so much, Galmaraz. And Alex, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Alexander Paternotte, Story of Your Life, mate. Welcome, Daniel Pemberton, Piku, and Amex707. Welcome to Mirror Manga membership. Thank you so much. That's lovely. Let me hammer some hearts. In the old days, when I used to do this, it would ping out hearts. I'm so sad that doesn't happen anymore. Sean Julie says, selling your furniture to buy books. Sean, as I go into the 40s, 50s of Horus Heresy, let me tell you, I'm going to need to be selling furniture. I actually have a viewer who has asked to sponsor the channel, who is involved with reselling Warhammer Black Library books. That's his business. It's called Chlorus Books. It has a website. So potentially, if Chlorus comes on board as a sponsor, that could really help me out with finding rare books. But yeah, hopefully more news about that, if the sponsorship happens or not, over the next few weeks. Philip says, bookcases, looks at my books on the floor and cringes. Zwinge 5840 says, speaking of Dan and the Inquisitor series, surely Eisenhorn and Beckwin would go on your top 10 grimdark romances. The ending of that one bit towards the end of Hereticus is genuinely heartbreaking. So much love in this universe. We definitely need to shout that out, 100%. Oh, thank you so much, Galmaraz and Alex. Oh, Robbie, thank you so much. Diffusion, Warhominus, the Drangus, Javier, and Chase Waters. Welcome, welcome to Miramanga YouTube membership. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. The memberships are much appreciated and a little lovely space, safe space. Hello, you're welcome for the membership. The amazing Robbie's bought it for you. Robbie has been supporting the channel with his own membership for 28 months. Alex, I think, was my first ever. So yeah, you can see how the membership, it's worth it. People stick around. They like it. It's good. Thank you for being with us. Hello, Aleph. Good evening. Robbie has not found his lost thingy. Inconspicuous person says, I love your interviews with Dan Abnett. Me too. I cannot tell you. Sitting down and talking to Dan Abnett is like going into a little cozy, like wooden log cabin in the rain and having chicken noodle soup fed to you, and your soul, you feel like all the extra hearts that you've lost. Bing, 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 bing. I cannot tell you. Dan Abnett has a aura. Yeah. We all want more interviews with Dan. What can we say? Oh, Robbie, thank you so much. The amazing Sean. Sean says, and amazing Robbie and Jasper. Guap Rosso, we love you and send much love, Mira. Oh, be careful. Don't be too nice tonight. The tears are on the edge. Nige says, just waiting for a Warhammer romance imprint. Would it be PG-13, Nige? Let's hope so. Historica Jamalda says, try Void Scarred, Nigel. I mean, it's very steamy. Robbie says, nice to see lots of folks. It is nice. I get so scared that everyone's like, this girl, Mira. I'm so grateful. I really appreciate everybody who hangs out and likes what we do on this channel. I say we, me, and Ian's encouragement. Ken Hober says, hello, Mira. Wondering if you know if there'll be books written for the Trench Crusade universe. It will surely be in the future, but do you know if anything's in the works? Oh, let me check my NDA. As soon as I can say anything, I will say something. Philip says, I think there are 2 or 3 books in the Heresy I've never read because the library didn't have them in stock and I wouldn't pay the prices on eBay. I don't blame you, Philip. I found Void Scarred in my library, so I'm reading it on my phone, which is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. If you have online library, it's worth. Some of the more recent books pop up in the library, but yeah, Heresy books in the library. I actually think if you have a really old library out in the middle of nowhere and you go to the sci-fi shelves, if you have like a rustic old library, maybe there would be some old Horus Heresy in your local library. You never know. Although in my libraries local to me, I don't have that much Warhammer in them. Patrick says, it's wild how Black Library purposely limits certain books. Is that what they do? I didn't know that. I don't know if they did that. I feel like they forecast and they're like, we'll sell this many books, let's print that. And then maybe they're just terrible at forecasts, because if you knew you could sell all the books, surely you would just print to that. Like, that's how retail works. So I just think they underestimate the love of reading. I don't know. I'm very naive and innocent. Maybe they have a plan. I don't know. We'll find out. Will says, we need to find Dan Abnett's lost McDonald's comics. I've been looking for them with no luck. Will, that is a worthy quest for 2026. The hunt for Dan Abnett's McDonald's comics must begin. Surely some collector somewhere will have that. I love it. Let's make that happen. Gal Moraz, oh, thank you for the donation. Gal Moraz, thank you so much. So generous. Let me hammer some hearts for you. Would Cloris be willing to take payment from us for books to send you? He probably has a better chance of finding them. I will ask him. I'm going to screenshot that comment and ask him. Patrick's done a compliment. Let me read it aloud because my ego could stand with getting bigger, let's face it. Your interviews are some of the best. Oof. I'm going to cry tonight. The kindness. It's so nice. Your interviews are some of the best when it comes to learning more about the authors and what they think. And I'm not just saying that. What can I say? Like, I find this, I get very scared when I'm interviewing authors. My heart's pounding. I have like bunches and bunches of notes. I always feel underprepared because I know so many people know more about the books than I do. But when I'm talking to an author and they are in their flow or remembering why they made some choices or talking about Easter eggs, it is my happy place. And it's such a good place to be when a creative opens their mind and lets you in on the secrets or trusts you enough to share their process. It's such a special golden feeling for me. It makes my whole body and my heart hum. So I don't think I'm the best at interviewing Warhammer authors. I think I always leave things out. Sometimes people are really mad that I don't ask really obvious questions I should know about, but gosh darn it, it's like manna for the soul. And I think I've been so lucky. Every single Warhammer author has been so super intelligent, so engaged with the IP, so kind, so many great stories and anecdotes. Like, sometimes it feels like a dream. Like when I look back at my interviews, both times I've met Dan Abnett, I felt like I'm meeting someone from, I don't know, a boy band that I just, was obsessed with, because the power of a good writer. Anyway, yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Philip says, it feels like they could make more money with reprints more often, but what do I know? Ken says, the expression says it all, and Gal Moraz says, you have no poker face. The kids do this thing, don't they? I don't know what it is. My nieces do that all the time. Nige says, I might give it a go. Oh, you're talking about Voidsguard. I read The Steel Remains. That's pretty steamy and definitely not PG-13. What is The Steel Remains? She asked in fear. Pigeon says, I was forced to move some books to new shelves in the cabin as I was sick of unshelved books strewn around the house. I still only have 31 of the HH series. Just managed to get Garrow. Nice. Tony says, a nudge and a wink about Trench Crusade, eh? Welcome. Oh, thank you, Guap Rousseau. Thank you so much for becoming a Mirror Manga Grim Dark Buddies YouTube member. Appreciate it. Philip says, the Emperor had a plan. How did that work out? I don't know. We won't know till 50k. As we all know, in my mind, the Emperor ain't dead. They call him the Corpse Emperor. He's still running the show. He's embodied. I don't know any different. So maybe the Emperor's plan has not rinsed out yet. Gal Moraz. Come on, Gal Moraz. That is slander. Games Workshop is not working with the merch scalpers. They are so precious about their IP. Guap Rousseau says, 10 years ago, I saw the entire Heresy. But they downsized and removed 25% of the shelves. No. Tony says, you interview authors as one of us. One of us. You're welcome. Patrick, the flow you mentioned is exactly why they're good. I feel like you get into their minds. It doesn't come across as a marketing gig. It should make you want to buy their books because they are brilliant. But I'm happy it doesn't feel like marketing. Gal Moraz, Patrick and Phil, make more books, sell more books. Seems straightforward. Yeah. Patrick agrees. I still don't think you can get Gathering Storm outside of eBay. One of the things I will say is Ian talks a lot about Black Library moving over to ebooks and the fact that you can't buy physical, but so many of the books are available digitally, and that might be a strategy as well. But to be quite honest, although I love hearing from the authors, I don't know how I'd feel if one of Games Workshop sat down with me and went over their Black Library strategy. Maybe that would be too much, too many secrets revealed. I'm not sure. Anyway, what's happening? I told my friend Jen, who's staying here, I'd hop on for 15 minutes, and we're 36 minutes past. I think a nice way to run down this chat, which has been unexpectedly lovely and amazing, and thank you for letting me ramble on. I think we should read some of our poetry. Guap says, I hope you're excited for White Scars Horus Heresy books. I am. I did like the book by Dan Abnett about the White Scars and their special warm mountain you could jump down. I am. Doesn't Chris Raitt do Scars books? Scars I've got 2 copies of. I've got a hardback copy. That's really pretty. And potential sponsor Chloris sent me a paperback. I've got 2 copies of Scars. I love the heresy. So let's close down with some poetry. The amazing and wonderful Wendy Cope, who started this whole thing off. Let's keep going. I don't know if I've completely lost, but I think we might be at a Christmas poem. This is from the book The Orange by Wendy Cope. The Orange and Other Poems. A Christmas poem. At Christmas little children sing and merry bells jingle. The cold winter air makes our hands and faces tingle. And happy families go to church and cheerily they mingle. And the whole business is unbelievably dreadful if you're single. Lies. For the first time in 2026, I might be able to have my dream of waking up on Christmas Day in a small little shepherd's hut on the beach. I'm going to open the door, walk down to the beach by myself, take in a big breath of sea air, go back to the cabin, cook all the M&S Christmas food that I've bought, put my pyjamas on and watch telly and have a Christmas day alone where no one's arguing, I'm not responsible for anybody or transporting anybody, and I'm just on my own and have a lovely Christmas day with my memories. So, Gal Moraz says, Books A Million was where I got my first Warhammer novels. They had a whole shelf right below the Star Trek. So many Star Trek novels. We cannot start Star Trek novels as well. Tony says, poems, pretty please. Alex says, I cannot wait for the White Scars books. Alex, Blood Angels and White Scars for you, is it? Philip says, I don't mind ebooks. I just prefer holding the book in my hands as I sit back in my chair and read. Philip, that's such a lovely visual. I know what you mean. I feel the same. Jamalda says, Chris Raitt does Scars. It's the next book after Unremembered Empire. I need to reach out to Chris Raitt. Somebody please message me in the Discord and remind me to put that on my to-do list. Reach out to Chris. Guap says, Scars remind me of my uncles and cousins from Asia. Very chill. Oh, that's so nice that you have a sense of home when you read Scars books. Patrick says, that sounds awesome. I know, right? Perfect Christmas. Our next reading will be from Essential Poems from the Staying Alive trilogy. The irony is not lost on me, but these are humanist poems, so I think we'll get from it. I think we read Ithaca last. So the next... Oh! This is Chloris. This is Chloris. And this is Chloris Books. Do you seek the righteous salvation of the light, the truth that keeps all in steadfast loyalty? Or have you drifted, seen the unseeable, and now crave the whisperings of endless potential? Perhaps the lives of mankind are of no interest to you. A page of time like any other, an enemy like any other. Chloris cares not, all are welcome. Do not let your feedback go unwritten, for if you do, Chloris will purr out your soul. So yeah. Potential sponsor, look out for them. Raging Horn says, if you obtain Garrow, don't write in it. I'll 100% buy that and pay premium from you. I think I've got Garrow. I've got I don't write in the books anymore after so many people were really upset that I have been writing in and marking up books that could have been selling for money. Robbie says Garrow's one of my favourite characters. Yay, we met Garrow. Was it Flight of the Eisenstein or Horus Rising? Very exciting. And wasn't Malcador in that story as well? Anyway, a poem from Essential Poems from the Staying Alive trilogy, edited by Neil Astley. This poem is called The Layers, and it is by Stanley Kunitz. The Layers. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own, and I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides, from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind as I'm compelled to look, before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see milestones dwindling towards the horizon, and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet I turn exulting somewhat, with my will intact to go wherever I need to go, and every stone on the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me. Live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I'm not done with my changes. The Layers by Stanley Kunitz. And of course, when you're reading poetry after a death, everything resonates. That's so beautiful. The line that says, I see the milestones dwindling towards the horizon and the slow fires trailing from abandoned campsites over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. So lovely. Jen, do you need to come in?
No, I'm just fiddling with the heating.
If you need anything, just if you're good. Okay. Raging Horn says, I'll definitely have it when you're done. Please, please. I don't know if I'm going to sell all my heresy when I've done or whether I'll keep them. They feel like partners or friends at the moment, those books. Raging says, I love Garrow, have the model, but scared to build and paint, scary resin. I have models that I'm scared to build and paint. I still have my well, but I found my paintbrushes and I might make this. Pigeon says, I still have all my English Lit A-level books, all heavily annotated. Still makes me smile, though not sure some of my teenage takes were great. Wow, it's interesting when you look back. Guap says, I don't know which I like more, Garrow or Ian's poking fun at him, particularly for being old. Ian is tough. He's a tough cookie, old Ian. Isn't he? Can I just check, how are the ads tonight? Are we ads heavy or are we ads okay? I'm feeling very worried about ads. Okay, we are now going to read a poem from Staying Alive, Real Poems for Unreal Times. A Northern Morning by Alistair Elliott. A northern morning. It rained from dawn, the fire died in the night. I poured hot water on some foreign leaves. I brought the fire to life. Comfort spread from the kitchen like a taste of chocolate through the headwaters of a body, accompanied by that little water music. The knotted veins of the old house tremble and carry a louder burden, the audience joining in. People are peaceful in a world so lavish with the ingredients of life. The world of breakfast easy as Tahiti, but we must leave, head down in my new coat. I dodged to the high street, conscious of my fellows damp and sad in their vegetable fibres. But by the bus stop I look up. The spring trees exult in the downpour, radiant, clean for hours. This is the life, this is the only life. We may have read this previously, but I like that. By the bus stop, I look up. The spring trees exult in the downpour, radiant, clean for hours. This is the life, this is the only life. And that line, comfort spread from the kitchen like a taste of chocolate through the headwaters of a body. Lovely, staying alive. And we also have the sequel to Staying Alive, Being Alive. So I have a very poor bookmark here. It's the backing of a blue tack. You'll be pleased to see that I have got a Muramanga bookmark. Yay! Oh, there are comments coming in. Ads free so far. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Heresy books are a good pension backup at this point, says Philip. I agree. I'm not far off from a pension. Raging says, when I did a eulogy for each of my parents, I finished on a poem, Remember Me, by Margaret Mead for Mum. Ooh, should we look that up and make ourselves cry? I finished on a poem for my mum too. I read it out the last live that we did, the members only one. It was called The Ship or something, and I'm delivering the eulogy on Wednesday, which I'm very... My friend Sam is going to stand in for me in case I start crying. And I told my brother, and I said, oh, Sam said she's going to stand in for me. And he went, oh, so she's the Sam in, which I thought was very funny. Remember Me by Margaret Mead. This is going to make us all cry, Raging, so thank you for sharing. And I'm so sorry your mum's gone too. And well done for doing her eulogy, because it's hard. Remember Me by Margaret Mead. To the living, I'm gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I'm at peace. And to the faithful, I've never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. As you stand upon a shore gazing at a beautiful sea, remember me. As you look in awe at a mighty forest and its grand majesty, remember me. As you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts and your memories, of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never be gone. Oh, thank you. That was lovely. Raging, I can never remember your real name. It seems really inappropriate to say thank you, Raging Horn, for that lovely poem. Is your name Leon? Liam? I can't remember. Sorry, grief brain. So the next poem from Being Alive, thank you Neil Astley for editing these, is called Mappamundi, and the poet's name is Philip Gross. 1. In the land of mutual rivers, it is all a conversation. One flows uphill, one flows down. Each ends in a bottomless lake which feeds the other, and the boatmen who sail up, down, round and round never age, growing half a day older, half a day younger every time, as long as they never step on land. 2. In the land of always autumn, people build their houses out of fallen leaves and smoke, stitched together with spiders' webs. At night they glow like parchment lanterns, and the voices inside cluster to a sigh. Tell us a story, any story, except hush, please, not the one about the wind. 3. In the land where nothing happens twice, there are always new people to meet. You just look in the mirror. Echoes learn to improvise, so it's said. We've sent some of the old to investigate, but we haven't heard yet. When we catch up with them, we might not know. 4. In the land of sounds, you can see we watch the radio, read each other's lips, dread those audible nightfalls. We pick through the gloom with one-word candles. Home, however, only, soon. while pairs of lovers hold each other speechless under the O of a full black moon. Ooh. 5. In the land of hot moonlight, the bathing beaches come alive at midnight. You can tell the famous and rich by their silvery tans, which glow ever so slightly in the dark. So at all the best parties, there's a moment when the lights go out, and you, only you, seem to vanish completely. 6. In the land of migratory words, we glance up, come the season, at telegraph wires of syllables in edgy silhouette against a moving sky, like code, unscrambling. Any day now, they'll fall into place and be uttered. Then the mute months, the streets without names, the telephone that only burrs. That was Mappamundi by Philip Gross. Ah, crikey. Yes, I like those midnight people. Hello, mystery voice Jen, says Tony. Guap says no ads so far. Philip says ad free. Tony says ads are okay. Rick says rocking YT Premium here. Woo, Rick, go you. I have YT Premium because I cannot stand the ads. Sean says remember to give the resin a good soapy wash beforehand, clean of that release agent. Ooh, is that for me? Oh, crikey. Sorry, I'm really catching up with the chat. You've been talking so much. Guap Rousseau, thank you for upgrading to Dreadnought. I appreciate you. Robbie says, I had an ad on my phone, but not on TV. They're only very brief, don't worry. Okay, cool. Gal Maraz says, beautiful. And Robbie says, nice one, Guap. Yes, thank you. I have... Dreadnought members are the least... I have the fewest Dreadnought members because it's the most expensive. But thank you so much for your Dreadnought support. Appreciated. And Your Spirit by Tram Tiara T von Reichenbach for Dad. What a mouthful. Oof. Caprice says, cheers the bookmark. I know. Isn't that wonderful? So civilized. Guap says, Robbie, Ian and Manga helped me through some tough times at my job and in nursing school. Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry you had tough times. And doing those videos has helped me through a really tough time. So I'm glad that they helped you. And Ian is just wonderful, isn't he? He's a balm for the world. Raging said, don't read it, I'll cry. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Gal Maraz says, we will be sending you strength and love on Wednesday. Raging Horn is another Tony. Anthony. Thank you, Raging. Oh, Christian, I never had the chance to do a eulogy for my dear old mum as she died in lockdown. And we only had 6 at the crematorium and then we had to go our separate ways. So sad. Christian, I'm so sorry. If you would ever like us to read a poem that you would have read for your mum, we could do that here. I know it's a silly YouTube channel, but my heart. Raging says, that's hard. Could you do a memorial service, perhaps on an anniversary? Yeah, I'm sure my brother and I are going to do something on Mum's birthday and next year as well, because we feel like we're still in shock at the moment, even though you have to organise a funeral so quickly. So, Christian, maybe you and I could do memorials for our dear loved departed ones. Hello, Stuart Thorpe. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. Christian said we did a service for her and my dad. Oh, my sister did my mum's and I did my dad's. That's beautiful. My brother did my dad's, so it's my turn to do my mum's. Robbie says, I can see a new channel brewing, Mira's Poetry channel. You have a great voice. Thank you. I do have another channel that I'm developing, which will have more poetry on it. I hope people don't mind poetry being on this channel. I'm sorry if it's too much. But I think enough of us like it, and if we're losing lots of viewers, or people are like really bummed out by it, let me know. I can't believe there are 40 people watching this evening. That's double the amount we normally have. So thank you for anyone who's come on here to support me through one of the toughest times ever. Thank you. Tony agrees. That's why I asked for poems. Tony, you started all this, didn't you, really? It's your fault. Andrew said, I did a morning tea for my mum's birthday after she passed. Andrew, that sounds absolutely beautiful and amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that's like? I'd love to arrange something like that for my mama. Stuart said, the Warhammer community needs more poetry, in my humble opinion. I agree. I mean, how wonderful was it when John French was talking about T.S. Eliot? Okay. So our last poem this evening will be from Staying Human, edited again by Neil Astley. And, oh no, where is it? I had another bookmark. Bear with me 1 second, my friends. It's just over here somewhere. Aha. Oh, Anthony, I'm sorry we made you cry. And we're sending lots and lots of love and hugs. It's good to cry when you remember people you loved, I think. I still cry about my dad, and he passed in 2012. So the tears can keep flowing. Tony says, this channel's a great mix of stuff. Andrew said, I mean, hi tea. Oh, lovely. Raging, Anthony, aka Raging, says, don't apologise for being authentic. Robbie and Tony are saying hello, which makes me happy. Lovely. I've met Tony and I've met Pigeon at various cons. This year I'm going to be at Salute and I'm going to be at Games, whatever it's called, GEUK, whatever that's called. Poems about dreadnoughts. Oh, can you imagine? Oof. Okay, so poems from Staying Human. Next poem we're going to read is going to be called You Fixed It. And it's written by Zena Hashem Beck. Also, I had another piece of blue tack paper. Look at this. This is my new bookmark for this poetry book. Not only is it a feather for Blood Angel fans and Raven Guard fans, it's got a little crystal ball with a little lotus flower in there as well. So going from a blue tack, that's the power of Amazon wishlist, I think. So thank you so much. Isn't it beautiful? You fixed it. And if the compass broke, you fixed it. Fastened the pencil to it with a rubber band. And if there was no hot water, you fixed it. Learnt to sit on that plastic stool in the bathroom and count. And if it's too cold outside, you fixed it. And there was the smell of burnt lemon on the brazier or the click, click, click of the gas heater. And if you were bored, you fixed it. Learned how to cut paper and colour the scraps. Learned to write on the walls. And if you wrote on the walls, you fixed it. Scrubbed them with your mom who yelled at your big brother, who, what on earth was he doing just watching? And if the TV blurred, you fixed it. Adjusted the antenna to catch those Japanese cartoons, translated into Arabic on the Syrian channel, and if the cartoons hadn't begun, you fixed it. Dancing to those nationalistic Syrian songs about Hafiz repeated, Yahala, 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 hey. And if you didn't have enough books, you fixed it. Read that French-Arabic dictionary the size of your torso, stared at the words crepuscule and... I can't read. And if you tripped on the missing tile, you fixed it, learnt to count your steps in the dark. Afternoon without electricity, gauged how dark it was by whether or not you could see your thumb. And if you couldn't see your thumb, you fixed it, got the candle from under the sink. And if the sink was leaking, you fixed it, tied a cloth to the pipe. And if the pipe burst, you fixed it, pressed your palms against the hole in the wall until Mum called the grocer to call the butcher to call the plumber next to him. And if there was a hole in your sock, you fixed it, learned to fold it under your big toe. And if your window shattered, you fixed it, taped cardboard to the frame. And if someone died, you fixed it by telling stories about how crusty their lambi ajin was. And if the lambi ajin was too crusty, you fixed it by dipping it in the tahini. And if your sorrow hardened, you fixed it by dipping it in seawater. And if your country hardened, you fixed it by dipping it in song. You Fixed It by Zena Hashem Beck. Oof, what a lovely poem. Can you imagine being remembered with a poem like that? So pretty. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely spent. And it's 9 o'clock, which means we've spent 20 minutes reading poems or something like this. I wonder what Fulgrim writes poetry about nowadays, says Robbie. I think it's probably going to be up on a website where you need to give you need to give your age, date of birth ID to read it. Guap Rousseau says, my girl likes Pierre Gentil as a poet. Ian was right when he said that Echoes of Eternity is like a poetic stream of consciousness. What's Echoes of Eternity? Tony says Expo. Yes, Games Expo. I shall be at Games Expo in May. Nige says, lovely feather bookmark. I know, Nige, it's so pretty. Anthony, aka Raging, says, I think they're prayers for the Imperium for Guardsmen, but I don't think I'd read them and I don't think I'd read them and expect it to feel the same as poetry. Stuart says, I don't want to imagine what poetry Fulgrim writes nowadays. Entirely reasonable. Tony says, cartoons, woohoo! Thank you for reminding me how good Ulysses 31 theme is the other day. Ulysses, Ulysses. I mean, I think that's my perfect man. Not Ulysses. No, the robot. No, not really. But I think one of my first ever crushes was Hank from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. And no one's ever matched that. So, hey ho. Stuart says, I would like to think Corvus Corax writes poetry in the style of Edgar Allan Poe. There has to be a parody Edgar Allan Poe poem written by Corax. Maybe we could make that happen. Andrew says, I will leave it as a comment after the stream finishes. Thank you so much. Sean says, thanks for the live. It's been energising with all the positive energy. Oh, I'm so glad you think that, Sean. My heart is shattered, so thank you all for being here and holding me gently as I fall in this space. Thank you, Nige. Thank you so much, Nige. You and I are overdue our singing songwriting sessions. Nige is on my Patreon and we have 15 minutes to chat every month, and I think Nige and I have about 3 months to catch up on. Thank you so much for supporting on my Patreon, Nige. We'll get together soon. Anthony says, that was such a cool programme. Robbie, hugs from Jasper to everybody. Good night. Big hugs, Robbie. Have a good day tomorrow. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, Caprice. Thank you for being such an old timer and staying true as well. Guap says, Echoes is my favourite Siege of Terror book. Oh, so I have about 30 books to read first. Caprice agrees. EOE is a glorious one. Very piratey. Thomas Domon, welcome to the chat. We are just about to leave and go to bed. But thank you so much for joining us. I'm very, very grateful. And thank you for letting me share poems and talk about books and all the lovely things we do on this channel. If you remember, I will be reading through the Mark of Calth short stories, and I am doing members only videos after I finished each story. The next story I finish will be Dark Heart. And then when I finish doing all of that, I'll put it together in a long video for everybody who's not a member. Thank you all so much. Tony says, relax and build a Lego unicorn. Maybe we'll do a stream where we do just that. You can also build it into a unicorn, into a seahorse or a duck. So we'll have to make sure we choose the correct map. Thank you, Tony, for sending that to me. Ciao for now. Nite, Galmaraz, everybody who's donated memberships and money, thank you so much. Oh gosh, fan funding. Let me do my thank yous. Thank you to Sean for the unicorn donation. Thank you for becoming a member again, Anthony Raging Horn. Raging, thank you for the £5, asking me to interview Dan again. Robbie, thank you for over 2 years as a Dreadnought. Galmaraz, Alex and Robbie, thank you for your Grimdark Buddies memberships. Alex, thank you for being my #1 member on this channel. Galmaraz, thank you for asking about Chloris. I will ask him that question, and sending me $5. Thank you so much. Guap Rousseau, welcome to Mirror Manga membership, and thank you for upgrading to Dreadnought. It's been so lovely. I'm really glad that I came back to do a stream, and hopefully I pray normal service will resume. Oh, Galmaraz, thank you. Thank you for the rose. I'll throw it on your grave. One of my TikTok friends does that. Thank you for the rose. I'll throw it on your grave. Thank you for letting us remember your mum, Anthony. Thanks to everybody who shared about their parents and remembrances and afternoon teas and sad moments. And sending you all lots of love. Peaceful thoughts, Tony. That's a beautiful sentiment. Let's go out on that. Peaceful thoughts. Good night, everybody. Take care. Good night. Bye.